Welcome, welcome. I'm super excited that you're here with me today. My name is Cindy Lish, and I empower stay-at-home moms with the confidence, tools, and skills to successfully get back to the workforce. Yep, that's exactly what I do. So if you've been out of work for 20 minutes or 20 years, this is the place for you. Okay, before we get started, I want you to pop on over and subscribe to my channel so you are the first to know every single time I have a new video out, which is going to be every week on Wednesdays. Okay, you all subscribed? All right, let's get moving. Okay, today we are going to be talking about the thank you notes that you write after you have an interview and the thank you notes that you write, yep, even when you don't get the job. Okay, just hold me out, hear me out, we're gonna get through it all. Okay, so when you go on an interview, first off, I want you to realize that they're under no obligation to hire you. Okay. And they're not even under any obligation to interview you. And by you sending a thank you email after you've gone on that interview, it's just another level of nicety. It's another level of that follow up, you know, that kind of thing. Imagine that you're working with this person. Okay. You know, when we work together, we correspond together back and forth. We send each other notes. We send each other emails. You know, a lot of people are working, most people are working virtually, you know, so that whole level of following up on communication is tremendously important. Okay. And also acknowledging that somebody's even seeing what was going on. I remember in one of my positions, where I was a project manager and I had to pass a lot of information on to another person. And we didn't use any project management tools. We were in old fashioned kind of sending emails. And I would never know if she had opened up the emails or not, or had, and I finally said to her, I said, listen, I just need you to write, okay, acknowledge, noted, something, so that I know that you've seen the message and that you've gotten this really important information. Okay, so in the same regards, by sending that thank you email after you've been on an interview, you're just completing the circle. Okay, you're thanking them. You appreciate the time that they spent interviewing you, talking to you about you, your history, your background, talking to you about their company. And so thanking them is a really nice thing to do, number one. Number two, it's going to make you stand out against the people who don't send a thank you email because they're missing that extra level of nicety. Okay. You know how somebody holds the door for somebody as you're going into a store and there are people that will say thank you and there are people who just walk right through and not acknowledge that extra step of saying thank you. Okay. The other really, really good thing about sending that thank you email after an interview is that you know how you leave the interview and like, oh, I should have said this. I really meant to say this. I meant to give this an example. Here you go. Here's your chance, short, succinct, to the point, but here's your chance to mention whatever you might have forgotten to mention at that interview. You have that opportunity. Okay. So number one, we're showing off our nicety. Number two, we're getting that opportunity again to give a little bit more pitch for ourselves with anything that you might have forgotten to mention on the interview. Okay. Number three, it allows you to continue to show your interest. Okay. Remind them, I'm very interested in this position. Could you please tell me what the next steps are? So it's once again reiterating your interest in this position. Okay. And number four, it's also just reminding them of who you are. So if during the interview you had a moment, right? If you had something that you connected on, you can bring that up again in the thank you email. You know, I especially enjoyed our discussion of such and such, right? Because it's going to help them to remember exactly who you are, okay? Because they interview a lot of people. Not every conversation, not every interview, not every person is going to be standing out in their brains, right? But this is your opportunity to, again, remind somebody of who you are. So those are four really incredible reasons to write that thank you email. Quick story, and then I'll move on to the thank you email when you don't get the job. So I met a woman who was looking for a job, and you're not going to be surprised to find out that she was having a really hard time finding a job. And I had asked her if, after she went on interviews, if she sent thank you emails, because she was getting a number of interviews. And she's like, no, why would I send them a thank you email? They already know before anyone is called in. They know who they're going to hire. They have to interview me. Why should I bother doing that? I don't have to do that for them. I bet you're thinking what I was thinking. Yeah, no wonder she's not finding a job. Because that attitude, that chip on her shoulder, that probably comes forward, right? I talk about brand a lot. That probably comes forward in who she is all the time. It probably came forward in how she answered the questions, okay, how she appeared, how she showed up, and it certainly came forward in afterward in that she's not even thanking somebody for interviewing her, thanking them for their time, okay? So always be that extra step. Always take that extra step to be that nice person. Okay, now here's something that you may not have heard of. And this is the thank you email that you write when you don't get the job. Why am I thanking somebody for not offering me the position? I'll tell you why. Now, I don't mean if you just sent resumes in and you were just rejected. And I don't even mean if you had a 15-minute phone conversation. That wasn't a good match, okay? That wasn't a good fit from the start. But if you had some progress in the interview process, if you had like a really, really, really fantastic second interview, or if you were in the running for something, you were 3 interviews, 4 interviews, 5 interviews, 6 interviews, whatever, and it was between you and somebody else, and they just didn't choose you, they chose the other person. And the difference could have been so teeny, 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 tiny as to why they made the decision to choose the other person. I'm encouraging you from the bottom of my heart to send a thank you email to them, to reach out to them. And you can write that, you know, thank them for this opportunity. And, you know, I would be lying to say that I wasn't a bit disappointed in not getting the position, but then wish them well with their hire, wish them luck in future endeavors, and then say, I hope that our paths meet again in the future. And what is the reason for this? Okay, number one, it's that extra level of nicety. But number two, and this happens more times than you would imagine, something happens. The first person doesn't work out. The first person doesn't get through the 3-month probation period. They fire that person. The first person leaves. Or, and this happens a lot also, they open up another position, or they create another position. This has happened for many of my clients. They create another position. They already really, really liked you, right? You went through many steps of the process. You were like this close to getting the job. So they don't want to go through that whole interview process again. They're like, hey, let me reach out to so-and-so. Let me call Cindy. She was really great. Let me see if she's interested in this job. And then you are like number one for that new position, which may have been created specifically with you in mind. Okay? So just because one door is closing doesn't mean that there can't be lots more doors opening up further down the road. So yeah, as much as as painful as it is, as much as it hurts you that you didn't get this job, and as slighted or angry or whatever you're feeling, that's not going to help. Okay? But this will. Okay. So now we're talking about 2 different thank yous that you're going to write. One is after the interviews, and the other one is certainly if you reached a high enough level in the interview process, but you still didn't get the job, you're going to send that thank you email as well. Watch how it changes your entire job search approach. Okay? I hope this was helpful for you. I have so much amazing free content for you on my website. Pop on over to cindylish.com, CINDYLISH.com. More videos, blogs, so much information, the opportunity to talk to me one-on-one for free to see how I can help you out with your job search. I would also love if you would help me to get my message out to more women out there. So please like this video, share this video with your friends. Let's help as many women as we can to successfully get back to the workforce. Okay? That's my goal. I hope it's yours as well. I hope that you have a super productive week. Always remember you're a warrior, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.